Well, afternoon, guys. It's 6:40 in the evening Pacific Standard Time. It's still the 25th of August, 2023. Well, I was coming across information while I was perusing YouTube, and not to mention doing some background checks on a few articles here and there. Now, apparently, Texas is going through an extreme 3 or 4 month drought situation. Getting worse and worse for these guys. When they're going into a stage two regarding water conservation, that's bad. At least one city, Houston's going to be doing that. Upon perusing another YouTube channel, I was learning about Texas's uh, Death Star bill that they had. And what this particular law does, apparently, if I'm trying to get the information correct out of this one, is it takes authority from states to regulate and manage their cities, and not to mention their environs out there, by limiting what they can and can't do, and puts them into a judicial headlock. They can't sue because if they do, they'll be inflicted severe penalties. If they try to regulate themselves, they can't do that. Even in emergency situations, such as if they happen to get any tornadoes coming through or hurricanes coming through, and usually the cities are screaming for federal help or state help during that time. But they're not allowed to do that because, according to what is being said, and some of the information I'm still trying to research right now on the web, there was a story that was passed out in the Austin American Statesman, I think, by Alan McCarthy. It was posted about 11 hours ago. And they're saying District 3 City Council member Jose Velasquez will receive a sanction for failing to report certain disclosures and sources of income in his 2021 and 2022 financial statements. Okay, but how does this help out concerning about the damn Death Star bill? I wonder. I mean, the title was Austin Council member receives sanction. Attorney uses Death Star law as part of defense. This is from MSN.com. I'm trying to make an establishment here that anybody taking on this kind of damn taxes on this one, any city, the major blue cities out there are going to get their ass slapped because of what Abbott and the cronies in their own state government wanted to do. Besides, they already have enough issues regarding lack of water, excessive heat, and power outages going to be happening left and right, brownouts, actually. There's a certain law that's called the Death Star bill, but the actual law that they have going to be effective on September 1st, it's called an act relating to state preemption of and the effect of certain state or federal law on certain municipal and county regulation. They call it Death Star because basically, as I said before, anything anything regarding rules and regulations are going to be. So now it makes the climate deniers out there open season. Texas government is going to be well open seasoned at this point. And I said a long time ago that it's still Texas citizens' fault at this point over here because they didn't keep their elected officials in check. They wanted a major conservative state where they thought they had everything locked down, regulated, regulated my ass, controlled by certain elites or something like that. And now, because of climate denying and certain steps that we all needed to take, but climate deniers said, no, it's not happening. It's just. Well, now it's happening. About 3 or 4 months of drought in Texas, and they're going to get hit by hurricane season. All it takes is good atmospheric pressure to maneuver a potential storm through the Gulf of Mexico up into their pipeline. They want to get all the water they're going to get. Not to mention, in the drought situation, that the land gets so damn sparse that any excessive water that's not being soaked into the ground, it's going to be flooded out. We know it out here in California. We've already been having our drought situation for years. We had rules and regulations trying to regulate what we could and could not do. Now, because of the storms that we have, we look at it as a godsend because we try to fill up our water tables as much as possible. But we're not out of the woods yet regarding our own damn drought out here. I'd love to see a green park. I can't. I see desert. I see scrub all over the damn place. I see no green. We're dried. We have mudslides happening differently. We have the water table shifted in the ground so much that we got landslides happening before we even understand it or even predict it. But we're getting it. Despite the fact that we have mountainous regions and there may be certain areas that we're trying to capture the water as much as possible. There are certain lakes that we depend upon and certain rivers that we depend upon that flow through several states. And if their water resources aren't filled up by either snowpack or by other means, we're still going to be fighting with several states for our own water. The cities, the towns, the farms, the agriculture, everything depends upon water. And with the drought, we had been fighting like crazy of who gets the rights and how much water we can suck up, and seeing the reservoirs and our own water caches dry up. In those water caches that we have, they also provide power. Power. Hydroelectric. We've had it for over a century or more. We had the technology for a longer time. The flow of water. If there's enough water going through, if we have the atmospheric conditions for the water to be replenishing our caches left and right, our dams left and right, that we've already screwed up the landscape anyway, but we needed the power for the city, so we had to screw up landscapes and animals and plants like crazy. And not to mention the water tables out there. Just so we can get power into our cities. Granted, we still have the access to natural gas if we're not having any issues with that one, or even solar power. However, we still depend upon hydroelectric. Depending upon if there's enough water in there for the hydroelectric, and if there's enough drinking water that we'll need out here. If Texas doesn't have that resource, they may just go wind and solar. But that's a bit progressive, isn't it? That's a bit leftist, isn't it? That's a bit woke, isn't it? That's a bit partisan, isn't it? Oh, you'll depend upon oil. Of course, you got to have the refineries and pumping out the gases left and right, and there goes the atmosphere right there. But hell, you got the oil resources to do so. And while you're pumping out the stuff and you're processing out the stuff left and right, then what do? Air's fouled up. But we got money. Money doesn't feed you good. But money buys things that are going to be more expensive. Well, that's the other guy's problem. That's not mine. I deny that the climate ever happened. I'm a happy Texan who's baking and seeing the electric bills frying out your bank accounts. Of course, you could put up the solar sails or solar panels out there. Try your luck that way and see whether or not you're going to get enough electricity out of the sun per day to keep powering up your electricity, to keep powering up your AC at least refrigerators. Keep ice in there, and keep food in there. What's left of it anyway? Texas was never agricultural. They were basically oil and cattle. Cattle depend upon grazing. They need plant life. You can't give them the plant life, you ain't going to have any but skinny cattle. You're going to have but skinny animals. Hardly anything to sell. Be the leanest cut of meat that you ever get. But they also need water. And what happens if there's no water? Dead cattle, blighted. There you go. But hell, whose fault is it anyway? That's why I kept saying it's the people's fault at this point over here, because you're the schmucks that kept voting in the assholes that put us through the situation in the first place. They want to deny what the hell's going on, what the scientists have been trying to tell them all along, what we could have avoided, but now we've got it. So guess what, boys and girls? We got to deal with it. Of course, you're going to be blaming everybody else for the damn thing, but it doesn't fix the damn problem, now does it? And if we can't fix the damn problem, we're going to have to get through this shit, aren't we? And it gets even worse. I don't hear anything concerning about desalinization plants along the coastline, but you sure as hell put your oil refineries out there. It takes a certain chemical, a scientific process, just to desalinate water. Take all the minerals and everything else out of the damn thing just to provide enough drinking water. It's bad enough we had a desalinization plant dependent upon Edison out here in California. Catalina Island. You have residents living there. You have residents having business there. They have a life out there. And the thing is, they have desalinization. But they also depended upon power resources as well through Edison. And if they can't get the damn power, they're going to be screwed. Edison has to draw it from different sources left and right to power the cities. My area is dependent upon Edison power. Wherever they're getting it, I'm dependent upon it. We don't have, well, we have wind generators if there's enough wind going through the desert. And if there isn't, they're just standing still. Without a lick of wind, they're useless. Put up the solar power, which means we have to desecrate a lot of desert land. Some of this land actually has plants designated by the state and federal. Don't touch this shit. But guess what? We got to touch it anyway. We got to touch it or go around this stuff by putting up enough solar panels out there to soak up enough electricity to maybe even power just a few few homes if we're lucky. Let alone 30,000 people living in a particular area or nearby areas. But we're also still dependent upon well water. How much does the aquifer still have enough? I mean, we just had a rainstorm. We have to allow the ground some time to soak in the water, to soak it back into the aquifers, go through the natural filtration process of its own self before we can actually get something pumped out. And unfortunately, the stuff we're pumping out right now in our town of Roseman, California, in the desert region, these things have chemicals. These things have minerals. I can wash a stainless steel pot. I actually scrape out the food stuff out of it using water, put it into a dishwasher using water, and it comes out worse than it was already food encrusted. Because now I'm saying mineral. I have to get a scraper and scrape the shit off. Not very good and not very tasty when you have to use it for your own drinking purposes. I have to buy filters, carbon-based filters, and filter the water for drinking for me and my dog. I use it to drink out of. Gatorade mixture with filtered water. Filtered water. Almost, I can taste the difference. Just about. This had milk in it. We're fortunate right now we haven't gotten into a situation where we're going to be squeezing out filled bottles and caches already. It's bad enough we go to liquor stores and try to buy up every damn bottle of water they've got in there anyway, especially when we had the storm coming through. People were screaming and yelling, "Where's my water? Where's my water?" Well, for me, I had a portable unit here that I just replaced. I had it running for about a few months, about 4 or 5 months before I put a new filter in the damn thing. And now I still got clean testing water. I got a CPAP machine that needs distilled water. There is no distilled water out here. I have to use filtered water. And I've got chemical buildup in there now. You understanding what I'm trying to when I'm trying to tell you what resources are precious and limited and not recyclable enough? Not replenished enough? Yet our surface of the earth is covered by water. We got a lot of land mass out there, but we also have a lot of water out there. But we also share it with life forms out there that we depend upon for food. And we're also depending upon that water and also temperature and salinity of the water to make sure that the planet is sustainable with oxygen and atmospheric regulation. It's a living, breathing biosphere that we're living on here. But we take it for granted, basically. So the little old area of Texas is having its, fourth month of being fried out like crazy. And then y'all people are having a little bit of an issue with your governor named Greg Abbott. A good old boy, ain't he? Good old Southern guy. He wants limited functioning of federal government. He's willing to say to the people of everybody else, flip the finger at y'all. We want to separate from people. We want to separate from a union. We know what the hell we want. And yet you're killing yourself and you're killing your people left and right. You allow gunshots to happen. You allow kids to go into a store and shoot people. You allow kids to go into an elementary school and kill your own kids. You allow kids to have guns all over that damn place. You think it's fun. You're filling up your morgues, you're filling up your body bags, you're filling up the cemeteries, and you're making profit from all those places, crematories. Yeah, that's what it's called, crematories. And there's not enough room in Texas to fill up the bodies anyway, despite the fact you see it's a big-ass state. And you look at all the communities in between the damn states. But you're good old boys out there. Now, here's the thing, you good old boy of a Texan who lives in the state, the one-star state. And I can say this about this because my brother was dead. My brother was a Texan. He hated when I made fun of it, but he can make fun of it because that was his state to make fun. So now he's gone and I'm making fun of the damn thing. Because y'all people are crazy and stupid. You elected stupid people in office that ruined your lives and ruined everybody else's lives. So yeah, I blame every damn voter out there. And they couldn't keep their own elected officials accountable. Again, you're stupid people. Coming from a Californian over here, yeah, we have our own stupid people over here too. But we also have smart people out here who are supposed to see something for the future, not just keep us dragged back into the past and think that was all right. You guys are getting fried, fricasseed, dried out, blown away with the dust in the wind. Am I laughing about you guys? I'm still scratching my head on you poor schmucks out there. You allowed this shit to happen on your watch. What can we do? You folks could have pressured your own gubernatorial elector officials out there to put in laws that would make sense. Unfortunately, you didn't pressure your legislatures hard enough. You didn't care enough. You didn't steamroller into your damn elected official's office over there and complain and demand that things be changed. And you sure as hell didn't bug your damn governor all the damn time. Otherwise, we'd hear it over here in the West Coast. So basically, you guys didn't give a shit. Let's face it. You guys didn't care about your damn states. Neither did every other damn red state out there. And yet they're constantly saying, we don't want the federal government involving, but we want the money. We got a little bit of an issue over here. We want your money, but we don't want you to interfere with us. But we'll take the cash. How dare I say these things? Because I'd seen how the country mutated into something hideous here. I'm not just talking as a libturd slash libtard, as I've been called out here, from all the conservatives who are Trumplicants and McCarthy kiss-assers. Yeah, I'm doing a nice little insult here, aren't I? Apparently you guys have to have character to be insulted, but if you don't have character, then I can't insult you now, can I? Of course, it could be reversed. You could have character. I could still insult the living crap out of you. But did I call you specifically by name on this one? No, I just did the people of Texas at this point over here. The guys who keep voting in the same elected officials kept getting stupids in there. Ted Cruz, I understand he's under attack by another rival. Good. He needs to get out. Of course, they'll probably say the same damn thing for our own governor out here, Newsom, in California. Yeah, we had a recall election, didn't work. A television slash radio operator who thought he knew better about state government without even understanding the damn workings of the process. Thought he was going to use his own popularity to get inside. He was going to be like another Arnold Schwarzenegger or Ronald Reagan. Is he out of his fucking mind? If he doesn't know anything about governing even a small town, how the hell is he going to be able to govern a state? Or let alone run for president if he doesn't understand the damn process, or he doesn't understand about government or how the process works from the inside. Hadn't been a mayor. He hadn't been a council member. He hadn't been a supervisor. But he's been mouthing off on a radio. To me, doesn't work. So if I'm going to be talking about the red states, I could be talking about a lot of red states at this point. And the trouble is, we're into trouble because people want it that way. And they blame others, and they don't take responsibility, accountability, or be responsible. They want the other schmuck to be so because they can kick back and just pick on everybody. But they don't want to do the work. They don't. They don't care about doing the work. They only care about their own damn selves at this point over here. I don't care about anybody else but themselves. So again, I blame you all. I have to be accountable for myself. I have to be responsible and transparent about it. My door's always open, but nobody comes. I got neighbors about. I talked to a few of them left and right. General things about the weather, how screwed up the damn weather is, but I'm not looking to blame people about it. I'm not blaming them for the damn weather, even though I could. But it doesn't help. Doesn't change the damn thing right now as it is. Or does it? So now I get to be a Karen. Oh yeah, the lovely Karens at this point. The lovely programming on social media these days, the marketing algorithms out there, the zeros and ones who are trying to really gather our own behaviors, trying to modify them and point them in this direction or that direction over here. And we see how I'm seeing how the effect is these days. I'm seeing this damn thing. It's like I'm seeing behaviors happen captured on film. It's laughable. But We all need a laugh, don't we? But we don't need to see all the damn misery that's being caused by our own stupidity. Case in point, the strong hurricane that bypassed Hawaii, and there was also a low pressure above Hawaii that helped cause the fire spark. But now they've got human incompetence for for not preventing the damage even further, or the death tolls. Could have been more evacuations. So it's human and nature on that one for Hawaii's disaster out in Maui. Lahaina. Or is it Lahaina? Lahaina. So now I'm hearing the death tolls are rising left and right, the missing increasing left and right. And that's danger. I'm just waiting for the death toll to rise up in Texas right now. I'm waiting to hear the numbers. And I'm not going to be drinking a bottle of water to that one either. I'll be scratching my head. How come the public didn't rein in their own damn government system? That's putting more of the pressure and more on the people over there, what they can and can't do. But it's not my state, but it is my country. So whatever happens in the other states actually does have a direct or indirect correlation and actions what happens out here on the West Coast. People keep forgetting about the ripple effect. You ever seen a Japanese Zen garden? You want to see about a three to a uh, 2 to 3 dimensional representation of what cause and effect is? That's a That's an example right there. The Japanese Zen garden. All you got to do is do a Google search. Look at some of this stuff. Japanese gardens. They're peaceful enough. They're contemplative. We've got one out by the Tillman water plant out in Van Nuys area, Sepulveda Basin, and they treat a lot of wastewater. And outside of it, there is a Japanese garden with pagodas, benches, and plenty of sand ponds out there with images etched into it of what cause and effect is. And it's something to be reflective upon. I keep that image in the back of my head. I've been through the tour once. It does disturb a lot of things. But it made me aware about a lot more things as well. Cause and effect. Which affects cause, which affects constant motion. The expression, we sow what we reap. Or we reap what we sow. Think about that one, boys and girls. While you cook, bake, and go thirsty in the state of Texas, don't blame me out here in California. It's your own stupid fault. You elected the politicians who screwed your state over. Now what are you going to do about it?